Okay, so hi Lucas, hi everyone. So this meeting we created and set up just to share with you guys that we are planning to make MFTF 3.0 release, and we got a bunch of tickets we want to review. This is not agreement. This is meeting just to let you know what we plan and when we plan to make this release. So MFTF 3.0 is targeted to be released March 25th. That's the end of March. It's before we plan to do Magenta 2.4 code complete, so we will be able to deliver 3.0 to Magenta 2.4. And our MFTF complete target date, as it's specified here, is March 13. After this date, we plan to do a 2-week regression of MFTF, executing all our automated tests, fixing some problems, issues, etc., etc. So this release do not have something special. It's mostly delivering as much backward and compatible changes as we can, and later in future releases, patch releases and minor releases, we're gonna make use of this just because other changes will not break any test execution. So if we will go through all of these tickets I created on GitHub, first one, we want to update XSD schema to verify that file has a single entity. So what this ticket is about? This ticket, most of this ticket, they come in from our technical guidelines section, where we suggest how to name our entities, how they should be located, basically the base rules how to write MFTF tests in Magenta. So here we have a ticket where we want to be sure that in one test file, let's say, we have only one test inside this file. The same thing applies for action groups, pages, and other entities. The only thing we want to keep as it is right now is data and metadata. We just think it's okay to have several data in the same file because they really related to each other and they look better. But that's something we will talk more about tomorrow in the grooming meeting. The other ticket also update XSD schema. This one, in this ticket, we want to make sure that our naming convention is followed, that everyone who name sections, elements, pages, etc., they do it in a standardized way, how we advertised it in technical guidelines as well. So we even have here a couple of regular expression patterns which should fit in all cases, but it's better to double check. So that this is more an idea.
I see that it needs some improvements, but we will do it together.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there definitely should be some improvements into this, but that's the idea how we see it. Data input, this ticket. What we have right now, when we create a data entity, most of the times we use same data entity to be persisted via web API, and after this we want to see something on storefront. But the problem is that when we submit web API call, we need to send a value. Like here's an example: we have value UA, which is code of our country, and label. That's what we're gonna see on storefront. Gonna be different. So what we think we should have an ability in data entities, in data fields, specify value and label. Value will be automatically used for web API calls. Label will be used automatically for verifying something in storefront or when we do a real check on web page. But we also want to keep possibility just to specify values. So if you do not specify two of those attributes, you should be able. There's entities which do not need this, so you should be able as well to specify just value, which is going to be identical for Web API and storefront. This is more structurizing the data, making it more readable and understandable, because currently we usually, what we do, we create two data fields, and they usually looks like this. Label, and then next one will be country value or just country. Not everyone, when we update something in our test, not everyone understand what it is. They just update on this single field, they forget updating other fields, so it creates a lot of mess in tests. But when they will see that they update label here, they also will understand it makes it obvious that value should be updated as well. Because when you have two different fields, it's not obvious. Yep, this ticket, another ticket. Again, this is not very difficult or not something special, but again, we want to make everything understandable for everyone. Currently, we have different naming convention for metadata files and everything else. Metadata, we have snack case style of naming those files and entities, and everything else we use Pascal case, upper camel case, lower camel case, whatever else. So what we want to go through all entities and make this convention similar for every single entity. And again, this is 3.0 just because Magento tests gonna be broken. Actually, in that said, when we go in to implement those tickets, we also going to create pull request to Magento. So once we finish this ticket, we will also have to update Magento test because no one else except us will do this.
We can be making upgrade scripts for stuff like that as well.
Yes, for most of these cases, thank you for reminding me. For most of these cases, we will be able to write upgrade script, which will automatically go and update Magento test entities to follow latest rules and latest standards. So we already have a couple of upgrade scripts, one or two. Mm-hmm. Yeah, so if you will run bin MFTF upgrade,
I think so.
Yeah, there is a separate command in bin MFTF which does it. So we're gonna extend this command to have all of this changes as well. Okay, MFTF test should remove previously created. Okay, currently if you will generate tests, all tests, and then you will call command run test admin login test, it will execute every single test generated by previous command. What we want, when you specify to run a single test using bin MFTF command, we will clean every single generated test which is under generated folder, and we will generate admin login test only, and we'll execute only this test. So this is more how we execute our tests, how we use, just to simplify developer life. And we
Okay, so
treat this.
I also have some performance notice, by the way, and I don't see it in the tickets right now. I will try, but I don't promise you that I will try just to not crawl, not render all the, not parse all the XML files that are in MFTF tests, action groups, etc. But just crawl only ones that are going to be used. I mean, like to create the files map, which action groups is mapped to which file, for example, and then to parse only the action groups that are used instead of creating the big object.
Lukasz, I do
Yes.
suggest you to talk to Kevin because he has a prototype of something you just explained. So you can collaborate together, guys, and maybe
Yeah.
Kevin will
Okay.
give you what he has and you will share the idea.
Yeah, Lukasz, I just pinged it to you via the commerce. It's a cache prototype branch, which more or less uses that idea. I made this prototype branch a long time ago. It's not without its faults, and it's super rudimentary. But if you wanted to use it as a jumping off point or basically borrow ideas from it, by all means, feel free.
Okay, that I see it, and it looks really really nice when it comes to jump in and jump up.
Yeah, feel free to hit me up with questions about that if you're ever curious about it.
Yeah, it would be good if someone will finish this prototype. Kevin will be happy.
Oh yeah, I would love it.
Okay.
Okay, let's go to another ticket. Remove non-debug level. This is pretty old ticket, but basically if you execute generate test or run test command right now, we will do XSD schema validation against each single file. Is it action group, test, data, whatever file we have, we will validate it and throw warnings. But before 2.3, I believe, MFTF 2.3 release or some minor release, we hadn't had this validation enabled by default. And to preserve backward compatibility, what we did, we enabled this XSD schema validation by default on these commands. We fixed all Magento failures, all Magento violations, but we still allowed everyone to disable this validation, sending the debug flag none. It means that no XSD validation will be performed. We did it just because we already had Magento releases with broken XMLs, and to give an opportunity to community and everyone to use those tests, even with broken XML schema, we allowed them to disable this validation. But we agreed that next major release of MFTF we will remove this. So you will have only two options. Perform validation against all files merged together into single file. It just works faster, and with debug, I don't know, some high or what flags do we have? Some other debug flag. We will perform validation against each single file. So you will not have an ability to disable validation at all like it is right now. So we want to remove this, and we don't want to see any broken XML files. So here we have a list of commands which uses this debug flag, which is generate docs, generate suits, etc., etc., etc. So you should go to each of this command and remove this possibility to disable validation. Next, two similar tickets, which is compatibility with PHP 7.4. Yes, that's not a secret. Magento will support PHP 7.4, and MFTF should be compatible with 7.4 as well. Currently, we don't have 7.4 specified in our composer JSON. I hope it's something like adding a new version to composer.json, but sometimes you have to fix some issues. The other ticket, we should be able to work with PHP unit version 8. Again, Magento tests, like unit tests, integration tests, they will bump PHP unit to version 8 in Magento 2.4, and MFTF should be compatible. By this mean, even if we that we use Codeception, but Codeception under the hood uses PHP unit. So in this ticket, I believe this is more updating Codeception version to higher version, which compatible with PHP unit 8. So this ticket will be more tricky than previous one, but I believe we should also be compatible with Magento dependencies. So those are dependency tickets. Yes, we also want to remove all PHP versions. MFTF 3.0 release will work only in Magento 2.4. I'm not sure, but I'm not sure. We will talk to our product owners and ask better, but I believe they will remove 7.0, 7.1, and 7.2 from Magento. So I also think we should remove compatibility with those versions. Maybe 7.2 will remain there, but definitely 7.1 and 7.0 will be removed. This is also versioning. And here we have another ticket. Basically, when we created those actions, assert actions, we introduced everything expected type as an attributes, and this syntax is not what we like. And next release, what we did, we enabled nested tags, expected result and actual result, just because, first of all, readability of such assertions is much higher. It's easier to understand what's here, and this is mostly it. And we also kept backward compatibility at that point because we didn't have chance to break everything. So right now we allowing to use attributes as well as nodes inside the assertions. So what we want to do, we want to remove those attributes, and we don't want to support this piece of code in MFTF. And I'm going to last ticket. Lukasz, you still with us?
Yes, I'm still with you.
That's the last ticket. I'm trying my best to do it as fast as possible. Yeah, so this ticket is actually still under discussion, but the idea is we want to be able to extend MFTF from outside of MFTF. So in your test folder, we want to allow everyone to write custom actions in PHP without any XML, anything. So as an example, right now we have wait for PWA action in MFTF, and no one able to use this action if they are not using PWA Magento project. So what I want to achieve in this story, in this feature more, I want to be able to write my own custom actions in my project and register this action in list of existing MFTF action. It will give me flexibility when I have an urgent ticket that, hey guys, I need some action which does real big magic. They usually dependent on our team. Those teams are dependent on us. They wait until we plan our next release. They wait until we implement this. They wait when we do regression, deliver this to Magento. So it takes at least 2-3 weeks for them to, once we deliver those actions. And sometimes we make bugs in those actions. They also need to wait 3 more weeks just to get fixes for this action. So that's not really comfortable for them and for us. And the other thing is that as MFTF, as a framework team, we don't want to be concentrated on such custom actions. We want to be concentrated more on test stability. We want to be concentrated on how to make test isolation better and more automatic for our users. And we also want to make work on reports, how people read those reports, basically on everything on MFTF side to simplify test writers' life. But those custom actions, they actually take big amount of time from our everyday work. So what I want teams to develop those actions in their repo, and that's it. The only exception will be if someone create an action which is useful for every single project in Magento. So then we will accept this into base MFTF list of actions, and it will be delivered by default. I've got a couple of examples. I will put it right here in the ticket. I will describe how I see this mechanism should be implemented. But right now we have wait for PWA. Also, we have a request from Page Builder team to create custom action only for their needs. And also we've got a couple of execute in Selenium actions in our tests. We will remove execute in Selenium action from MFTF test. And if someone wants to write some custom PHP code to handle some behavior, they will be able to use this functionality. They will be able to create a real PHP class, describe how this action will work with the WebDriver, register this class, this action in MFTF, and it will be working for your test in your module. That's the general idea of this ticket and what we want to achieve. This is pretty much it. If you, Lukasz, have any questions, feel free to do not ask them.
Actually, I'm really happy that you want to enable us, like extension developers, to provide additional action handlers, because it's a way to open the market for external tools or different, for example, Selenium, to use their features on your own. So there could be an extension provider that can add support for Selenium in MFTF. So that's actually something very interesting.
Yep. So that's the plans for 3.0, guys. Tomorrow at the same time, we're gonna have a grooming meeting. At this grooming, we will go through each of this ticket. I will try to explain the implementation details, if any. Most of them are pretty simple, but something like last ticket I explained needs some talk and needs some explanation how we want to implement this. So tomorrow, same time, join us. Yeah, this is it.
Cool. Thank you, Alex.
Thank you.
So see you tomorrow.
See you tomorrow. Bye, Lukasz. Thank you for joining us.
Bye.